Hi Floss Tube. This is Stephanie with Kate's Crafts, and I'm back with my 2025 WIP Parade. It's been a year since I posted. It was my last WIP Parade, but I'm here, and thank you to anyone who's coming back, who's watched me before. And if you're new, I hope you enjoy my WIP Parade. But life has been crazy. Work has been crazy, and I've been stitching, just not recording. So gonna work on doing better with that next year, hopefully, or this year, I should say. Today is January 3rd. And I'm going to share with you my WIPs. I have a chunk of WIPs that I've worked on in 2025, and then I have a second chunk of WIPs that I did not touch at all in 2025. So I've kind of divided them into two groups, and hopefully I can share with you my progress for the last year. And then if you are interested in seeing my older WIPs, you can peace out if you want to. But I hope you stick around, grab some stitching, grab a beverage, enjoy. I'm going to start with the pieces that I have on scroll frame rods, and just because it's easier to move those out of the way, and then I'll switch to my bucket over here, and hopefully I won't keep you guys too long. I will try and save fabric and floss type stuff as I go, but most of it is in my head. I don't have anything written out specifically, so anyway, let's get into it. All right, my first project is my Hade. Oh, I have this backwards. Give me a second. I'll flip it around. And this is called, here, I'll actually show you a mock-up first. It's called Floral Bird of Paradise. That's what it's going to look like when it's done. I apologize if you can hear that. My cat has a toy in the background and is going nuts with it. So hopefully that'll turn off here soon. Or hopefully you can't hear it. All right, this is my progress. So I got just over 2,000 stitches on this last year, focusing on mostly in here in the 3865 cream colored background. So I'm about over to where the tip is of the Bird of Paradise. So I filled in this chunk here. I am definitely hoping to get more progress on this project this year. I am 16% complete. So lots to go, but I do love this piece, and I know exactly where I want it on my wall. So I really do want to get it done, but it's 200,000 stitches. So, you know, I've got a long way to go. All right, my second piece is my other Hade, and that is called Mini White Magnolia, and that artwork is by Marianne Broom, and I am stitching this one on 25 count, 2/1 10 stitch, and this is how far I am. So you can see I'm just getting into the magnolia here, and then there's a little bit more underneath. I did not put much progress in this. I think only about 500 stitches, so definitely need to focus on my full coverage more. I'll show you a mock-up of that one. This is what it'll look like when it's done. And I am currently 30% complete on that. So a little bit farther, but you know, still a ways to go. All right. This next one is called Put a Bird on It, and it's by Modern Folk Embroidery. I'm stitching it on a 22 count Aida, one strand of Cottage Garden thread, full cross. And this is a sal through EJ and the Sunshine Stitchers. Out of their Facebook group, they do a monthly Zoom, and they pick a piece, and EJ divides it up into 12 sections, and we have from December to December to work on it. I am late. Not everyone. A lot of people are done. I am not. But this is my progress so far. And I am using Cottage Garden threads. It was charted as monochromatic by Jacob, but the cover sheet has some color variations in it, and EJ used Evertote and Carrie with Roxy Floss to come up with a colorway kit to kind of match that cover with Hannah. And So I kind of just took what I had in my stash and modified it. Theirs is a different color scheme, but I kind of followed the same division of, let's see here, put a bird on it. So I am 45% complete. So that's not too bad. I was pretty good until June, and then I fell off, so that makes sense. But for 2026, they're starting a new sal. They've already started it, and it's Elegant Lace by Works by ABC, and it's really gorgeous, but I think I'm going to focus on finishing that one before I start another sal with them. Sorry. Need to hydrate. All right. My next one is called Autumn Town, and it's called Autumn Town 476 from Etsy. And this is what it's going to look like. And this was my New Year, New Start. Last year, I'm stitching this on 20 count Aida in the color Overcast by Jody and Cedar River Linen. And this is where I'm at. And this just uses all DMC. And for that one, I am just about 8.5% complete. So, and I worked on that quite a bit in January and then really haven't touched it much since. So I need to, I'll have to put some focus on that if I want to get going. All right, next I have Tangled Fire. And this is by Ink Circles. This is what it'll look like. And this, the recommended floss is a sulky pack. So I bought that and I'm stitching that with the sulky. And this is, I'm stitching it on, I think it's 36 count linen by Color and Cotton. It was a one-off when they had like a ready to ship situation, weekend, whatever. And let's see, how far am I on this one? I am just about 20% complete on this one. And I did do a decent amount on this one this year. I got maybe 2,000-3,000 stitches on it. So definitely filled in, started kind of going into these outer bands here and then filled in the inner pathways of that. So this is a really fun one to work on. It's very, it's interesting because it's like repetitive, but yet you still have to count a lot with it. So I can't get too far ahead of myself unless I'm just filling in the bands, but it's Ink Circles. I love it. So can't complain. All right. And then the next one I have is my fountain glass art. Let's see. It's by Heartland House Designs. It's a Frank Lloyd Wright stained glass window. So I bought this. I was in architecture school for my first year of college because I wanted to do architectural engineering, and then I dropped the architecture and just went over to engineering. But I love Frank Lloyd Wright architecture, and I love his stained glass. And when I was doing a tour at one of the homes, I think in Chicago, they had this for sale. And but this is from the Dana House, which is in Springfield, Illinois. And so you can kind of see like the thin lines that are in there. That's all stitched with Krynic. So I haven't gotten to that part yet. But I started this when I was, like I said, in college. And then I kind of lost it. I found it a couple years ago and hadn't stitched on it much. But now have since, like this last year, I really wanted to put a lot of progress on it. And I also recharted it in WinStitch. So now I have it digitally as well, which has been a huge help. So this is how far I am now. So exciting. Last year when you guys saw it, I was basically like here. And now I've done all of this. and filled in a lot of the frame. So there is another like chunk of all these little squares that starts down here. So this frame goes down a little bit more here to the bottom. So very exciting. I also bought some petite treasure braid in antique silver to hopefully like take the place of the Krynic. Although I have the Krynic that I'm supposed to use with it, but it's very thick. And I don't know, like you outline, all of this gray is outlined in the Krynic too. And I don't know if I am up for that or not, but I definitely want that piece done and framed. I'm really, really, really wanting this framed. It's gorgeous. I have a second stained glass window one that I bought at the same time. That's a different house, different design that I would hope to start after I finish this one. But love that. All right. Next is A Quilter's Dream. This is another modern folk embroidery. I kitted this up at Stitch North in April of 24. And I'm stitching this on dirty porcelain. It's either dirty porcelain or porcelain. I think it's dirty porcelain from Roxy Floss. And I'm using their flosses as well. This is what it'll look like. And that's with me changing the colors. The way it was charted looks like this. Kind of like a navy blue and gold, but we don't do navy blue and gold in this house. We are a green and white house in Michigan, not a maize and blue house. Well, that's not true. My husband is a maize and blue fan, but I am not. I am stitching it with Cheshire and Creme de Violette from Roxy. And this is a 20 count Ida that I'm stitching it on. So that is how far I am. You can see I'm across to the top corner. I did stitch on this a bit this year as well. I am 28% on this. I put in about 2,000 stitches on this. And I'm pretty close to the center, like kind of quadrant here. So it'll go down to here. So I have a little bit of fabric left over too. All right, and then we have one more on scroll frames, and that is my Long Dog. Now I started that on Long Dog Leap Day in 2024, February on Leap Day in 2024. This is what it is. Here's the mock-up. It's one of their band samplers. It's called Resistance is Futile. And I am stitching this on, I'll be honest, I don't know what fabric it is. Because I thought I had ordered some fabric for it, but then the stitching on the edge does not make sense to me. It does not match anything else from that dyer. So I'm not really sure. But it is a 36 count linen. And I am stitching this with Gloriana Silks. I am 29.8% complete, so almost 30%. My goal is to hit 50% by February 28th this year, or March 1st, so that I am halfway through the leap year gap. And this is how far I am. So this one I stitched on New Year's Day, and I put 1,800 stitches in New Year's Day, I think. So I've made quite a bit of progress. I love this. And the silk I'm using, like I said, is a Gloriana silk. And it is called Royal Plum Light. So it's just one variegated color. And then I'm kind of just stitching however it goes. So definitely hope to get some more progress on this one this year. Sorry. All right. So that's it for scroll rods. And we get into the project bag fun. these don't all fall over. Okay. All right, again, I'm gonna start here. These are all projects I've worked on in this year, or started in 2025. And I just put them in smallest project bag to biggest project bag, so they're not in any type of chronological order, but it is what it is. So, okay. This first one, I don't even think I have a mock-up of that isn't the chart. Sorry. Oh, I do. There you go. It's called Seas and Greetings by Hands On Design. It's just a little ornament. And it's 32 count French cafe, 32 count country French cafe mocha. And I could probably finish this in about 30 minutes if I just sit down and do it. So just need to finish that. Basically, I have the word seas and then the underside of the waves. And then I bought this as a kit at Stitch by Stitch in Cape May. And so that comes with they already kit it for you on a little card. And it came with a mounting board and finishing. It's like a little cardstock piece with the flip-flops that go behind it. So there should be a nice little ornament that I'll have. I don't know if I'm going to finish it with that particular one or if I'm going to, make it like a little pillow, but I definitely am going to finish it as a little ornament. Okay, next I have A Christmas Carol from Stitching Book Club. And do I have a picture? Oh, no, I do not. I don't have a picture. I have the Sal. So this was by Sapphire Mountain Handcraft Stitching Book Club. And I'm changing it up. I'm not going to put the quote in it. I'm going to put the little swirls that they have around the quote. And then there's some red in the middle that are just like ninja stitches. So I got some red Mill Hill beads that I'm going to put in there instead. So that's really all I have to do is to add these red beads and then stitch the little swirls, and this should be done. And this is on an 18 count Ada from Brandy at Bestitch Me, and it is the colorway Dune, I think, or Grog. I'm not sure. Dune or Grog. It's the bottom corner of one of the fat quarters, so that one should, in theory, be a finish this year, if I can focus on that. All right, next we have an Irish Blessing by a Tiny Modernist. I have that one in Pattern Keeper. Let's do... This is what it'll look like. And so as far as Pattern Keeper is concerned, I'm 65% complete. However, it doesn't take the back stitching of the quote in the middle into account, so not quite. I would say I'm about half done. And what am I stitching this on? I don't have a sticker on here. This is just white from 123 Stitch. It looks like if I remember right, this is a 32 count even weave. So there we go. And I started this one in March for our birthday start with me and Erin, 2 Martini Stitcher, because our birthdays are both in March. So we started that one together. So that one's pretty fun. And I think that one would go pretty quick as well. All right, so the next one I have is another pattern from Etsy. It's called The Hobbit Hole by Cross Stitch For You. And this is what that one will look like. It says, in a hole in the ground, there lived a hobbit. I'm not sure if I'm going to stitch the quote at the bottom. But so far I have the most of the door done. And I'm just stitching this on, this is, what is this? 18 count Aida from Michaels. Or, yeah, Michaels, I think. And I'm 21% complete. So, called for DMC. Next is Phoenix Biscornu by Tiny Modernist. That's what it'll look like. And I am almost done with the top piece. And this is on 20 count Aida. So I'm almost done with the top. And then I just need to stitch the bottom, which the bottom just has the little corners. So yeah. I'm stitching that with the called for DMC with the exception of the yellow, which I substituted in Butter Crunch from the Gentle Art. I didn't like the yellow. I wanted a little more variegated yellow than the DMC. All right. Next one is Pierre. It's one of the tiki birds from Walt Disney's Enchanted Tiki Room. The design is by Abby Sue Designs. And I don't believe you can buy these on her site anymore. But there are 4 tiki birds. And I have stitched Jose and Michael, and now I'm working on Pierre, and then this year I wanted to finish Fritz, but I haven't finished my Pierre yet, so I'm about halfway done, as you can see. Let's see, I can give you I'll give you this is what he will look like. So yeah. About halfway. And this is 28 count Monaco, tea-dyed Monaco, and I'm stitching this over 2 with 2 strands of DMC. So it's like 14 count. Does go pretty quick. There's just a lot of color changes in the border. So I try and work that as I go. This is the project bag I made. Next, we have another ink circles, and this is Forest for the Trees. This is what it'll look like when it's done. And this was a kit from Pacific North Stitch Summit a couple years ago when Tracy went as one of the designers. So this kit was generously shared with me, or given to me, I should say, by my friend Michelle. And so this is the fabric that came with the kit, as the called for. And I'm probably about halfway, I think. Let's see, what is our... Yeah, 41%, so almost halfway. But it's fun. It's charted in Classic Colorworks, and I'm stitching it with all the called for flosses from the kit. All right, next is another new start. This is by Madame Chantilly. This is Winter Carillon. So that one, I'm stitching this on 32 count natural linen, and this, which I believe is the called for, I think. Oh, it doesn't say. I guess it doesn't say on the chart. I think it was the called for, at least when I ordered it, a 1, 2, 3 stitch. So this is my start. Start in the center, not too far along, but it was a decent start. And that one just has called for DMC as well. And this is also a project bag that I made. All right, next, this is a big one. It's called Save the Stitches. And when I say big one, it's a big pattern. So it is a Blackwork Journey by Elizabeth Allman. And so this is just the frame. So they're all different numbered blocks. And then they're filled in like this with blackwork. And also metallics and beads as well. So that is why there's so many pages, to give all of the detail on that. And I put in just over 2,000 stitches in this year. I'm stitching this on just a 36 count antique white linen. And this is how far I am. So I really wanted to stitch this whole thing. I don't know if I will, but I definitely want to get a good chunk of the border in, and then I'll go back in and work on all the black work. But it's charted with black and then metallics and beads, and I'm using the two different, instead of using a one strand DMC, and then I think it's a 12 weight pearl cotton is what it calls for. I'm using a sulky 30 weight and then the 12 weight. So and that was a free chart that she has online. Okay. Making progress. All right, this is Tiana, also by Abby Sue Designs. This is what she'll look like. And I'm stitching, she had a bunch of these princesses at one point, and again, I don't think she no longer sells them, but I bought all the princesses that I had completed Run Disney races for, and I'm going to frame them all with my medals. So I have completed Aurora, Mulan, and Cinderella, and now I'm working on Tiana. She's almost done, just have a little bit left, and then I have to do all the back stitching. So very close to a finish on this one. I did put, I think I just started this last year, or maybe even started it in 2025. So I think this actually is a 2025 start, but I'm almost done. Again, just more black and back stitching. And then I think I have a Moana, Rapunzel, Merida, and Belle to do. And then I'm done with all the medals that I have so far. But I'm hoping to run another race in 27. We'll see. I'm going to try and get back into running. I've had some health issues that have kept me from running. And so I did just sign up for the Detroit International Half in the fall of 26. We'll see. Hopefully I can run it. And but I've got 9 months to train. And then I'm hoping to possibly do the Princess again in 27. Or maybe Wine and Dine in 27. We'll see. All right, this next is not cross stitch. It's actually needlepoint. And I bought this chart, or this canvas, I guess, when I visited Fiddlesticks 2 in Honolulu. They are no longer in business. They closed. So this is Heliconia, which is like a torch ginger. And so I've only done the white up top here. So you can kind of see I've stitched the white. I have not stitched the other colors yet. They said to finish all the white first. So working my way down on the white, and then I will start with the other colors. And for this, I got some Threadworks. I have some Petite Treasure braid that they recommended using, so it's kind of sparkly. And then I pulled some other stuff from Stash. So should be fun. Just something different. And it was so pretty, I wanted to. And I think that's technically supposed to let you finish like a bookmark, but I'll probably just do a little frame for it. Okay. Next, this one should be finished, and it's not. Autumn rules. So I'm so close to the bottom here. I barely stitched anything this year. I got, I think, the pie and a couple of the leaves. That's all I have left to do at the bottom is make pumpkin pie. This is on Vintage Country Mocha. So yeah, so I just did this little bit here, and I just have to finish pumpkin pie in the bottom border, and it's done. So like, it should just be done. Sorry, the edges are a mess on this one. But it is a fun stitch, and it's by Primrose Cottage Stitches. And that's on 36 count. Okay, this next one I also put in a bunch of work on this year, and this is Aurora Borealis. It's a Mill Hill Buttons and Beads kit. Sorry for the plastic glare there. But I am almost done with the stitching on it. See, I also charted this one, so I am 76% done. And I think that includes the beads though. And this is on a pattern or a fabric by Fangirl Fibers. It's a 14 count Aida called Iridescent that we got in her Mickey or Disney's 50th anniversary box that she did. And that's where I'm at. I didn't want to stitch it on the perforated paper, but it's still 14 count, so the beads should still work. So you can see that tree needs to be filled in with black, and then there's a bunch of beads that have to go in. But I would say I was probably at 20% on this at the beginning of the year. When I went to Alaska on the Jean Farish stitching cruise, in September, I took this piece as my travel piece because I figured that would be very appropriate for Alaska. So anyway, all right, next pattern that I'm doing is called Autumn Provides by Summer House Stitchworks, and it is I started this on the cruise with Erin. We both started this one. She did 100 starts to celebrate turning 50, and so we both started this one together. I am not stitching this in the called for colors. I am stitching it more in like a fade from Cottage Garden. So yes, kind of like more like that. And I'm stitching this on 40 count by Be Stitch Me. It's just a Friday Night Fight Night one strand over one. So it's going to be super teeny. Teeny. So, oh, I just showed you the back. That's how funny that is. There you go. That looks much better. Super teeny still. So we started that on the ship. One in there. All right, next I have Woodland Wonder by Glendon Place. And I have this in the most perfect bag for this chart. This is a Garon bag. I love this bag. And remember that pattern on the antlers there? And then look at this on the chart. Tell me that's not perfect. It's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. So, this was called to be stitched on Earthen by Picture This Plus, which was a little bit more reddish. And so I think I'm actually stitching this, if I remember right, on, I think it's vellum. So it's a little bit more neutral. I also got about 2,000 stitches on this one for one of my challenges. So made decent progress there. But I want to try and get into the trees with the beads. I did chart this in Wind Stitch, so I have it in Pattern Keeper because I did not like the paper chart on this and I just wasn't reaching for it. So I did spend some time recharting things this year as well. But let's see. So I am 8.1% complete on that based on what Pattern Keeper is telling me. And oh, I thought I said I had 2,000 stitches on that. I do not. I have like 1,000 stitches on that. All right. 3 more to go for what I have worked on in 2025. And I did not bring all my finishes from 2025 over. So there are a few things that I have that are like I started and finished within 2025 that you're not seeing. But so I did work on more than this, but it's pretty close. All right, next I have 324 by Works by ABC. I'm sure most of you are familiar with this one. It is so fun to work on. And this is the original. I do have the sequel and 365, but for right now I'm focusing on 324. And I think I ended last year with about 3 rows done, and now I'm at like, I did another 3.5 rows. And this is just 36 count linen. I'm stitching this I think this is 2 strands. Maybe it's 1. No, 2. 2 over 2 on 36 count. So not quite halfway. 9 rows down is halfway and this side is 7. So not quite halfway down, but pretty close. But it's a fun one. Again, I don't have that one in digital format. I mean, I bought the PDF, but it's not for Pattern Keeper. You can't really tell what color you're stitching anyway, so doing that one off of paper. And for all of these, I know at one point Arlene was selling basically like cards like this that she made with all the colors on it, but I made my own, and I got these just online, and I've labeled them with the DMC labels, and then I have like, so this takes up 18 cards worth, so I numbered them like card 1 all the way through, and then I put the DMC numbers here of like the first number and the last number so I can like flip through it easy. And then I just took, this is how long I do my threads. They're about 36 inches. This is doubled, so it's 18. But I take 1 6 strand, and for 324, most of them only take 1 length. And if it's just the like box of 25 stitches, it's even less. And then I will keep this together for, you know, when I do the sequel, which I hope to start this year. And then I'm like going to take this to retreats, because how many times do you just need a little bit of one color? So then I have like almost my full set. It's not quite, but almost a full set with me, that maybe I'll have what myself or a table mate needs, you know, if they just need 1 length of something. So, and this bag is, it's like a geometric bag, but it totally reminds me of Frank Lloyd Wright, Falling Water. And then this is denim on the bottom. And I bought this at Stitch North 2024, I think, or 23. I Can Sew Make That, SEW. I Can Sew Make That. Her bags are fantastic. She also has scroll frame bags that can hold all your scroll frame rods that I love. All right. Okay, then I've got Tiki Time by Ink Circles. And this fabric, I'm not sure the fabric on this one. It is by Picture This Plus. I am 90% sure, but I'm not sure what color it is, because I bought 2 pieces of this fabric and when I went to the craft gallery, and they wrote it on the other piece, and that piece is in a like to be started pile. This is called Tiki Time. Again, it's by Ink Circles, and I do know it's a 36 count. Or no, sorry, this one's 32 count. 32 count, I think. And that's how far I am. So I'm almost finished with this guy. I just have to fill in here, and I added this entire tiki this year. So that, and then there's a third guy over here. So for this one, I am 57% complete, and I've got about 2,400 stitches to go. And I'm stitching this in the called for Classic Colorworks. All right, last one that I worked on in 2025, and that is Hawaiian Alphabet. Hawaiian Mandala Sampler by also by Ink Circles. And I'm stitching this on a 18 count Dune by Be Stitch Me. Sorry, it's very, very wrinkly. It's almost done. I just have to finish this other half of the flower and the leaf up here. And then I have to fix this square down here. I need to frog that, and it's stitching with 2 strands on 18 count, and it is very tight, and it's kind of nasty to frog. So I was getting annoyed with it, and I gave up. But otherwise, this should also get finished this year because I just have a block that's similar to these, just down here with the pink, and then I'm done. So I think this one, if I look at it, yeah, I'm 92.6% complete. I have 700 stitches, 725 stitches left. So just need to finish it. And that one I'm stitching from stash. I kind of converted all of the DMC to fancy floss I had in my stash and just kind of color matched it. So it's pretty close, but love some Ink Circles. So I'm going to take a quick hydration break here, and then I'm going to switch over to my other bin. As I said, if this is all you guys wanted to see, I get it. The other basket here is not going to be nearly as exciting for progress, but I can still tell you what I have. And I probably will work on a lot of these this year. My goal is going to be to try and touch more of my projects this year and get a wider range of projects, but I am focusing on 26 projects with 2026 stitches in each for Fandom Stitching Central, but I'm also going to be attending several retreats and wanting to meet other challenges that hopefully these will come into play and I can get more done as well, but that's kind of where I'm at. So let's dive in, shall we? I have another 23 WIPs here, so I think that puts my total at 51 WIPs, if I counted correctly. So again, some of these should not be WIPs though, because I did UFO when I was going through to do this. I UFO'd about 5 projects, so I was probably closer to 56, I think, or 57. But I did officially UFO some items. So a lot of these really should get finished though. This is kind of dumb that they're just lingering when I probably only need to spend maybe an hour or 2 on some of these. All right, so this one is a Mill Hill kit. I started this last year on New Year's Eve, and that's Cheers. And it's in here somewhere, I think. Oh, I put it in the bag. Like, so this is how far I am on it. So almost done. I have to stitch in the words cheers, which it's not going to see it, but it's kind of outlined, like it's already mapped in. And then I started with a couple of the beads, which I'm not sure why I did beads if Unless the words are all beads? No, they're not. Anyway, so maybe they are. I think they are. I think the words are all beads. So there we go. Hopefully that'll get done this year as well. But I did not work on that anymore after New Year's Eve last year. So, all right, we'll put these in this bin here. All right, next that I did not work on this year is I think I have the wrong list here. All right, well, we're just gonna reassess them as I pull them out then. This is Pirate Quaker by Bendy Stitchy. I started this one, and this is on a piece of Jody fabric, and this is a very, I don't want to say pathetic start, but it is kind of a very minimal start, let's say. And it is charted using cottage garden threads, and I had all the cottage garden threads, so why not stitch it? But now I just need to actually do the work. Oh, I guess I forgot to tell you guys. I also was talked into starting to knit by my friends Michelle and Aaron, and while we were on our cruise. So I do have a couple knitting things to show at the very end if that interests you as well. All right, next I have Hocus Pocus. This was in a Just Cross Stitch magazine. Hocus Pocus, I Need Coffee to Focus by Witchy Stitches. And I'm stitching this on a piece of fabric flare fabric that I got in a Fangirl Fibers Haunted Mansion box, I think. So that's my wonderful start on it. This should be, it's 14 count Aida or 16 count Aida, so it should go pretty quick. Just need to do it. All right. I have here 50 Years of Magic. This is by Abby Sue Designs. Again, this was in Fangirl Fibers Disney 50th Anniversary box. This is what the chart looks like. Sorry. And I am stitching this on Scotsman. And this is my, 18 count Aida from Be Stitch Me on this colorway Scotsman. That's my start, the base of the snow globe. So I use this for some challenge stitching. I'll be honest, this piece of fabric, for whatever reason, Brandy is not my favorite to work on. I love her fabric, but this one is not jiving for me. So I find it, I could only use one strand on it. It was tighter than most of her fabric, so it's not drawn to it as much. But I do want to have that piece stitched. All right, this next one is a Chinese Zodiac. I'm calling it Chinese Zodiac banner. So let's see, do I have, oh, it's on my old tablet. It's not even in my new tablet. So I got the Chinese Zodiac symbols from a designer from Etsy. I will have to look up and put below. I know I stitched this for Stitch Asia, and my dad and sister are both ox. I'm a sheep, and my mom is a rabbit. So I am stitching our 4 symbols. So this is ox, and that's gonna be rabbit, sheep, ox. And so just for our family. And this is 28 count Monaco, and I'm stitching it over 1 over 1. But given that Chinese New Year's coming up, I should probably get that out and work on it. Although it's Year of the Horse, so still. All right, I also have another one here. This is Comfort and Joy. I think this was from Primitive Needle punch stitcher or punch needle. Why can I not remember the name of that magazine? PMPS. This is Comfort and Joy by Misty Purcell Luminous Fiber Arts. And then this is How Far I Am. This is Brandy Bestitch Me 18 count grog. And I'm using this piece of fabric for a couple of the ones you're going to see. I think it's on this next one too. Yes. So this is Half the Fun by Ink Circles, and I got this in a Black Needle Society box, a travel stitching box. And this is How Far I Am. This is that same fabric. And I said 18 count, it's actually 22 count. So it's one strand, just a basic start, and I'm stitching this with Nighty Night Classic Colorwork. So it's like a blue, black, purple kind of color. This is one I've actually thought about buying the PDF for, and I think it would go faster than trying to stitch off of the paper chart. But I don't know. All right, and then I have Henna Mandala, which is on a 20 count Ada from Bestitch Me. And I'm very close to finishing this. This is Dune. And I'm stitching this with a Sulky 12 weight blendable in the colorway Caramel Apple. It's number 4010. That's what it looks like. Just one strand. That's another one. I think I'm like 80% done. I should just finish it. All right. And this is Valentina. Oh, hold on, that's the chart. By Ink Circles. You can tell I like Ink Circles and I like Bestitch Me. Here's Valentina. It's very cute. And this one is charted with a like a variegated thread, I think. Yeah, it was using Wildflowers thread. A Karen Wildflowers in African Sunset. But I am stitching it. I had this mini, it's not really a hank, but it's kind of a mini hank of Brandy at Bestitch Me Silk. And I'm stitching it kind of about a tone on tone. And this is also a Bestitch Me Friday Night Fight Night light purple. So again, I don't know. Sorry, this is the top. I'm not sure why it's not done. So the silk you can see is kind of variegated. It does have some light spots in it, but it's very subtle. But that should really be done. And I want to finish that as like a little pillow ornament for my tree. Have to do it. Famous last words. Okay. All right. Well, I showed you guys Autumn Provides. And now I have, this one is Spring Awakens by Summer House Stitchworks. And this one I am stitching on a Color and Cotton grab bag 40 count over 1. And I'm stitching this one pretty much as called with the stripes. So I need to finish this blue band, the tan band, and then there's another narrow blue band on the end. So a little over halfway. Just all right. This one I've not worked on either. I guess that's true for all of these. This is a kit from Amazon. Stained Glass Ornaments by Design Works Crafts, and it's on a 18 count, it's kind of plastic canvasy it's not like the old traditional like thick plastic canvas, but it's very much like that. Somewhere between a plastic canvas and a perforated paper. And I have the tree done and the bell. I had started back stitching the bell, as you can see. And I wanted to get a couple more of these done for my kids, because I have ornaments that I made like this with my grandma when I was 8 and 9 years old. And I'd like to have little ornaments like that that my kids can do as well. So far my boys have shown no interest in stitching, much to my dismay. All right. Next we have 12 Days of Christmas by Satsuma Street. These are, I'm stitching them individually like this. You can also do it all as one, but I'm doing it individually. I'm stitching these on 28 count Monaco over 1. And I've completed a number of these. I won't show them all to you, but like here's number 4. I have number 4, number 5, number 1. And then I started number 9, but I'll be honest, I jacked her leg up, and something's off, and I can't frog over 128 count, so I may just restart that one. But I want to do the 2 turtle doves and the 3 French hens. It's my hope for this year. But I did not touch those in 25. I wanted to, but kind of lost track. I didn't really do much holiday stitching. I traveled a lot. You know, this one I'll show, but it's kind of pathetic. This is, oh, that's my start. It's Country Magic Stitch, and it's Visit King's Landing. And I'll be honest, I don't even think I don't have it scanned in Pattern Keeper. It was on my old tablet that died, and I don't have a cover page here. I just have the chart. So I won't even be able to show you a picture of it, but it's a stellar start. I think this one I was going to try doing like the typewriter method that Stitchin' Mommy suggested, and like kind of go across and then like fill out that thread and then pick up with the next color. But I didn't get very far. This is on an 18 count Easy Grid Ada that I got from Charting Creations, and I have 4 Country Magic Stitch that like banners that I want to do with 4 different fandoms. I have this one, which is Game of Thrones. I have the next one I'm going to show you is Star Wars, and then I'm going to start at some point the Shire for Lord of the Rings, and then I have Hogsmeade from Harry Potter. So here is Welcome to Tatooine. This one I do have in Pattern Keepers. You can see that's what it'll look like. Again, same fabric. And this is how far I am. I'm not a fan of orange, so I'm surprised I did this one, but I like it. And as I say, I'm not a fan of orange. Actually, let me jump ahead here. I'll show you Hogsmeade. You'll see those. And this one is so close to being done. In 2024, I spent a ton of time on this one. And I have not worked on it in 25 at all. I need to finish Hedwig. I need to finish the front of that building. And then I have to fill in. You can kind of see like the rest of the snow there at the bottom. So it's really a lot of fill-in, and this should be done. There should be no reason this goes past end of this year, but I said that last year. This bag, I also got at Stitch North. It's by Sheba Designs. Look at those cats. Aren't they amazing? Here. And then that's the inside fabric. So fun. And then she put a little cat paw on the charm. Adorable. Alright, this is the Stitchonomy 2020 Halloween sale. It was a big rectangle. I recharted it to fit with inside this like coffin tray that I found at Joann's, and it happens to fit perfectly inside it. and it's going to be amazing. I have the frame done. I just need to stitch all the things in the boxes, which I have not done. And I say that as I say I hate orange. But this is a creamsicle, or dreamsicle, I think. One of the two from Be Stitch Me. And this is a, I would say 18 count Aida. Could be 20, but it looks like 18. And I'm just using DMC. But yeah, the way I mapped this out and like literally mapped it all out to fit in that tray is ridiculous. It's like gonna be the best finish FFO ever if I can just finish the stitch. Enough said. Okay. We're almost done. This is a Year of Black Work by Peppermint Purple 2020 Sal. Now, to be fair, I didn't start it until 2021. But I am stitching this just monochromatic with, what is this, 910. DMC 910. And this is a piece of 18 count oatmeal from Michael's or Joann's. And that's how far I am. And because I started it a year later, I mean, everything's already done and charted and released. So I started in the center and I'm working my way out. But I really enjoyed working on black work and I need to get back to doing it. It's very relaxing. And I've shown you a couple black work pieces and I just need to do them. All right, this is Roxy. And this was, well, it's charted by Jean Farish. And it was a class she did. So I want to say it was Roxana Carson. And Jean Farish kind of tried to make it more modern. Said if Roxana was alive today, she'd probably go by Roxy. So she called it Roxy. This is part 5. So that's 5 of 6 of what it looks like. I don't have the full printed one out. But I am changing it up. I'm not going to stitch that alphabet, the pink alphabet there. And I'm going to change the quote because that quote is the whole, like, when my bones are rotten, remember me thing. And I'm a little too, it's a little too morbid for me. And I'm going to rechart it with a Disney quote. So from Coco, which is also about death, but, you know, Disney. So, I took this because this was my first time stitching on 40 count, and it was my first time doing like more specialty stitches. So we've got satin stitch, herringbone, double herringbone, Algerian eyelets, and there's some more down below. But this is how far I am. I'm kind of committed now to do that full Algerian eyelet alphabet, even if it'll kill me. And then, like I said, I'll put the quote in it. But, yeah. Oh, and the strawberries also have different, like, I think there's like a long arm stitch in there and a rice stitch. Some other specialty stuff in here. It was a really great, when it came out, it was a class. And so we got a different part, I want to say like over a month or 2 weeks. And then we had like a Zoom and she had videos to go through every stitch, which I'll probably have to go back and watch again because I won't remember it all. But this is just white linen from 1-2-3 Stitch. But it's super, I don't know if you buy it now, if it comes with access to those videos, but those videos are amazing. Sorry, I just banged the table. All right. Next is, this is from Autumn Lane Stitchery, Hawaiian Mermaid. She's super cute. And I am almost done with this again. So close to a finish. I'm stitching this on a piece of fabric that I got in a black needle box from Fortnite Fabrics called Hue. It was in their rainbow box. And I just need to do her skin, a little bit on her hair, and then they're like back stitching and things like on the seahorse and some of the other stuff. And then there's a little bit of beads on her, like a little necklace. So, and this is 32 count, if I remember correctly. And this is, you know, one of those fabrics that I was like, I'm never going to use that. I'm never going to use it. And then I was like, oh, I found a way to use it, and it all worked out. So sometimes when you get those mystery fabrics, you know, you think you'll never use them, and you do. Now, I'm trying to remember where this bag is from. I don't see a label on it, but it's an adorable bag. I wanted to give credit. There's nothing. I know I got it on Etsy. I don't remember where I got it from, but look at this bag. You can tell I'm a cat person. How adorable is that? Love it. Okay. I'm also a wine person. This is another one of those bags from I Can Sew Make That with the denim on the bottom. I get these at Stitch North. She's amazing. All right, this is Hello There by Patchy at Best Company. I'm going to just show this way back here. It's Star Wars. It's a black work piece. There is no, I mean, the cover work is the chart. So I have one square done. And this is 28 count Monaco, but I'm stitching it over 2 because of the black work. Because there are portions that are over 1. Definitely do not try this on Ada. There are a lot of fractionals in this, and you will go nutso. Well, most people would go nutso. I don't know. Maybe you like that kind of thing. All right. I think there's 3 left. So this is September's Revenge by Maximum Cross Stitch, Ellen, and then it was the September kit was, we got the bag from Evertote, the fabric and floss from Roxy Floss Co. So I'm stitching this on a 36 count Panettone. This is how far I am along. Not very far. And I really want to get back on the Sampler September bandwagon, but I have just didn't pick it up last year or the year before. So this was 2023 project. And then this one is another Works by ABC. It's called The Labyrinth of Reims Cathedral. And I'm stitching this one on I think this is like a grab bag Ada or a Fight Night Ada from Be Stitch Me. And then I'm stitching it with Diamant Black and Silver from DMC. So the black is done in full cross stitches, and you can't see the black sparkle as much as you can the silver. And then the silver is done in half stitches, and you work your way out the labyrinth. And this is the actual labyrinth layout that was like, and she's got a whole story about how it came to be, which is amazing. I love how much detail Arlene puts into her charts and how much she tries to teach us about things. She has some great historically appropriate charts that are really, really good. So, all right. And last but not least for stitching is the Siren by the Primitive Hair. And I'm stitching this in a bag that I won in a giveaway from my friend Gail's Golden Needle. And I'm stitching this on a 36 count oat by Brandy at Be Stitch Me. This is how far I am. I did not stitch on this last year. Like I said, this is a mix of DMC, General Arts, and then there was 1 week's, which I don't stitch with, so I swapped that out for, I think, a classic Colorworks color. And that's it for my stitching. So, sorry, I keep banging the edge of my computer here. So, again, thank you guys for listening. If you're all done with stitching part, I'm going to talk about knitting for a hot minute. And, but hopefully you guys stick around. So, I have 3 things to show you with knitting. So, when we went to Changing Tides in Juneau, if you ever go on an Alaskan cruise or go to Juneau, you should definitely stop in there. They have quilting, they have yarn, and they have stitching. It was a wonderful shop to go in, and the owner is extremely nice, so nice and wonderful to talk to. But there was a like a mini skein set, and this piece was on a model, and they were showing the mini skeins, and the chart is called Memories of Juno. And I'm like, that's really cute. And Erin was like, you could totally do that. I'm like, I don't know how to knit. And the owner's like, oh, you could totally figure this out. And Michelle had later was like, you could totally figure this out. So I ended up buying it more out of FOMO because Erin was buying some yarn, different yarn. And, but so I did it. I learned how to knit. I never knit before. I had done woobles for crochet, but I've never knit. So this is just knit stitches, and then there's eyelet rows that are just kind of thrown in randomly. I have not woven in all my ends yet, and I have not blocked it. So there's eyelet row. So these were the 5 colors in the mini skein set. Oops. And then it just becomes, you know, like one of these kind of situations. But I think when I block it, it's supposed to get bigger. So hopefully it'll be stretched out a little bit more, and I'll figure out how to do that. And then I've like, oh, I can knit now. So I decided I was going to make my husband a scarf for Christmas. So this took me 2 months. We started it October 1st. I think I started it the 3rd. And then I finished it on December 2nd. So it basically took me 2 months. So I'm pretty proud of that. And then I started a scarf for my husband, which it's just a 2x2 ribbing, but I kind of mapped out the stripes myself. This is the college that he went to and my son's high school colors, so it kind of fits, but it's nice and squishy. I don't know. I'm making progress. It's slow, but you know, if he wants to be able to tie it, it's like I got a ways to go. I gotta like double this almost. So work in progress. So it was all balled up like this under the Christmas tree. And I'm trying to be good and not develop a yarn stash ahead of finishing this. But I did buy yarn for my next project, which I mapped out. And I'm going to start. But the last thing I wanted to show you guys is not something I made. It was something that was gifted to me. And it's so sweet. So my aunt sent this to my parents. My dad is his brother or her brother. And these are 2 scarves that my aunt in Hawaii, well, my grand aunt, my grandma's sister, my dad's aunt, made. And she has since passed away in 2021. But my dad's sister, my aunt, had them and sent them to us and said, hey, would you like to have this? So my son wants one and I will have one. But they're knit scarves. And they're just knit stitches, right? With some kind of this like chunky yarn. It's nice. But they have she had custom tags made with her name on them. It's so sentimental and soft and beautiful. And, you know, that's amazing. So, yeah, she was in her mid-80s and she passed away in 2021. And, yeah, so we miss Auntie Noi. So, but I'm happy to have this, and that's a pretty amazing gift to get. So, very, very fun. But that's all I have. Again, thank you guys for putting up with me. Thanks for watching. And hopefully I'll be posting soon with some progress. I'm definitely going to get better about posting on Instagram as well. But thanks, everybody. Have a great day. Happy New Year. Happy 2026. Bye.